joined now by the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, who joins us from Westminster. Mr Javid, we were expecting you to join us yesterday. A very important day yesterday on two counts. We had lots of questions to be answered regarding the allegations of a Christmas party in the heart of Downing Street. And you had some very important health messages to put out as well. And instead, you had to resort to Twitter to put those messages out. Why didn't you show up yesterday?
Well, look, I'm pleased to be here now, but the honest truth is that the reason I didn't turn up yesterday is because, like a lot of people, I think I was very upset, angered, actually, by that video. No doubt you've seen the video and what it looked like, and I thought the team at Number 10 should have the time and space to respond to it, and I'm pleased with the way that the Prime Minister has responded by asking for an investigation.
Are you more upset and angered by the video than you were of the allegations of rule-breaking at Number 10?
No, I think the video itself, the way it looked, the way it came across, it's not about me. I think that my constituents seeing that when they think of how they rightly followed all the rules throughout the pandemic and they couldn't see their loved ones. It did anger me, and I think there needed to be a proper, full response, and there's going to be an investigation to establish the facts, and I don't want to preempt the outcome of that investigation, but I think it's important that there is now one taking place by the most senior civil servant, a very respected individual, very professional, and he will get to the bottom of this and establish the facts.
So you're not angry and upset anymore, then?
I think there's still a lot of anger about the video, and again, it's not just me. I think that there's probably throughout the country, I'm sure for many of your viewers as well. But I hope people would welcome the fact that there will now be this proper investigation where the facts can be established.
Do you accept there was a party? Most people now believe there was a party. I mean, it's pretty obvious there was a party. We've heard admission from Allegra Stratton and other people that there was a party. Do you agree? There was a party?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, again, I can tell you, and I think I've said this on your programme before.
Sorry, Mr Javid, sorry, because we're going to waste time here. You watched the video, you were angry about it, you're upset about it, but it feels like you still don't think there was a party. What were you angry and upset about then, exactly?
The content of the video, but I think that... The content
was that they admitted to being at a party.
Following the video, I asked for more assurances about the rules being followed at all times. I've been given those assurances, but I do think it's important to have this proper investigation that gets to the bottom of this, where the individual, in this case Simon Casey, can speak to whoever he wishes. He has the full authority to gather whatever evidence that he needs, and can then set out the facts. And I think that is important.
But we've had inquiries before. There was an inquiry when it questioned Priti Patel's ministry code, her behaviour with the ministerial code, and that went back to Boris Johnson. He just simply dismissed it and kept her in office. Why is an inquiry going to help us at all?
Well, because I think people want to know the facts. The Prime Minister wants to know the facts. He's asked for this investigation, and rightly so. And I think it is important. And one of the reasons it's so important is to make clear, as we should at all times, that the rules, all rules, not just around the pandemic, but in this case, obviously, we're talking about the pandemic. These rules, which are really difficult for people, they apply equally to everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're in government, outside government. There's no one that's exempt from these rules. And I think it is important that, given the questions that have come up, that the matter is looked into properly by someone who's respected and can get to the bottom of it.
Why didn't you say this last week? Instead, on this show, when you spoke to Susanna and Ben last week, you said you were absolutely certain that the rules were followed. Why didn't you ask for an inquiry last week?
Because those were the assurances that I had been given at that time. Obviously, that was before the emergence of this video. I think now that the video is out there and the response that's come about as a result of that, having this investigation is the right outcome.
Was the Cabinet Secretary who is investigating, do you know if he was at the party?
I have no idea.
Well, we'd hope you'd say no.
I wasn't even in government at the time, let alone in Downing Street. But the cabinet. What I do know is the Cabinet Secretary is a very serious, thoroughly professional individual. He's the top civil servant in the country, hugely respected, and I think that he is the right person to look into this.
OK, so can we just establish, you don't know if the person investigating the party was at the party or not?
Well, I couldn't tell you either way because honestly, I wouldn't. It's not the kind of information I would have. But I think that it's important. I mean, in the way you've asked me the question, you're assuming there definitely was a party. And again, I don't know that either. The purpose of this investigation is to establish the facts.
If there was a party and if someone was at the party, should that person investigate the party?
There's a lot of ifs there, and it's a very sort of hypothetical.
That's what
question.
an investigation is about.
All I'm interested in is, I think, like most people, is getting the facts established, and we'll know that once this investigation is complete.
But if somebody had been at an event being investigated, you wouldn't want them investigating the event, would you?
Well, you're just presupposing that, in this case, you're obviously referring to Mr. Simon Case, that he was in number 10 somehow involved in certain gatherings.
I don't know, Mr. Javid. I don't know. All I'm asking for, because you would assume that somebody would say they are entirely independent from the event. I don't know if they were or not. I am asking the question.
Well, Simon Case is a very independent-minded individual. He's not a politician. He's not a minister. As I say, he's a thorough professional. He's incredibly well respected, and I think he's the right person to look into this.
Can I just ask you, is this inquiry, though, going to also look into the allegations of a party in Mr Johnson's flat on November the 13th, a party on November the 27th, Cleo Watson's leaving do, where senior Downing Street aides were there and there was a farewell speech by Boris Johnson? Is it also going to investigate the party on December the 14th at Conservative Party HQ held for Sean Bailey, where there was Santa hats and Lego given and drinks and whatever else? Is it going to investigate all of these, or just the one party? Or are we going to get 4 different inquiries for all of those events, Mr Javid?
My understanding is that this investigation is not tied to any particular date. You also mentioned something potentially at CCHQ. I don't think Mr Simon Case would be looking at that because that would be government business. So I think in terms of government, including there were some reports earlier this week about a gathering at the Department for Education under the previous Secretary of State. I think he would have the full freedom to look at all of those.
You have introduced Plan B. You need people to obey rules, don't you? And there is criticism that this has fundamentally undermined people's trust in those who make the rules. Why should people obey the rules that you've introduced under Plan B? Well,
the announcement of Plan B yesterday, we're doing this for really serious reasons. And we've always said with this new variant that our strategy is to buy time to build our protective defences. We've received new data over the last couple of days around especially how quickly this new variant Omicron spreads. We think it's got a doubling time of between 2.5 to 3 days. And what that actually means is that in that short space, the number of infections in the community double. And on that trajectory, there would be more than 1 million infections by the end of the month. And some people say, look, maybe it's less severe. Maybe it is. But the point is that even if it turns out to be less severe, if you have a small percentage of a very, very large number, it would still lead to a lot of hospitalizations. And Plan B is all about making sure that we are buying time, building our defences, and also that the NHS is there for all of us when we need it, particularly for those emergencies, and not just the COVID emergencies, but if someone, God forbid, they have an accident, a road accident or a heart attack, that emergency care is available. Okay. So I think it's a really important set of measures, and no one enjoys doing this, but I think it's important that we buy time, build our defences, for example, by getting more and more people boosted.
Mr Javid, just finally, what would you say to those people who look at your new rules, your Plan B, and they just say, I'm sorry, we're not going to follow them? It's one rule for you guys, it's one rule for them. What do you say to those people watching? You are the Health Secretary. Yeah. What do you say to those today, this morning?
Well, I would say it's the same rule for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're in government, outside government. It's the same rules. No one's exempt from any rules, including pandemic rules, and that's vital, vitally important. And then also, I would say to people that we've all got a role to play in fighting this pandemic, and as well as following rules, there's a role to play, especially with the vaccination program, the national vaccination program. And if you get the call from the NHS, especially for your booster jab, please do step up and roll up your sleeve and get protected.
OK. Sajid Javid, Health Secretary, thanks for joining us this morning.